wasn't so much the fact that it was the wrong decision, but the fact that there was no review, because there was clearly enough doubt that the VAR in Cologne should have said, look, we are not sure about this. Go over and have another look. You will probably see that things played out differently than the way you saw them the first time. But they were very hesitant. Sascha Stegemann, the referee in question, said there was no reason for him to doubt what he had seen. He also mentioned the fact that the protests were quite muted, which is, I think, a difficult argument to make, because as a player, I'm thinking, okay, if I don't go nuts, then I don't have a good chance for a review. That's okay. That might be true, but it's still not a great thing to say. And I think it also exposes this tension that exists between the idea that we want to be very careful with intervention. We want to only get involved when there is a very clear-cut error, in the sense that 99 out of 100 people would say this is wrong. And even if there's more doubt, then we'll say, okay, we'll stick with the decision. But also with the expectation that tricky situations, especially if they mean a lot, if they're really important for a game, or in this case for the German championship and the relegation fight, that the referee will make use of the VAR almost as a kind of insurance policy to give himself a better chance of making the right decision. And this tension sometimes produces bad results. And in this case, I think the idea not to get involved is correct, basically, as a principle. But in this specific case, the VAR should have at least said, are you sure? You might be well off looking at this again. And Sascha Stegemann, to his credit, came out the next day and gave a lot of interviews saying that he had sleepless nights and he felt very bad about the decision. And of course it was wrong. And unfortunately, Cologne did not help him in that respect. He also said that there were threats being made to him and his family, which of course is quite terrible. The police are involved. Hans-Joachim Watzke, the Dortmund CEO and the most powerful man in German football, came out with a statement abhorring this kind of abuse. But here we are. Christoph, do you think that the Adeyemi penalty, or the Adeyemi non-penalty, will one day go down in German history as one of the most important penalties, stroke non-penalties that ever happened or not happened? Like Breitner in 74, like Bremen 1990, like Kutzop, Michael Kutzop with his famous penalty miss in 1986. Are we talking this magnitude, or will we see still enough in the next 4 games for people to say, you know what, yes, it wasn't just because of this penalty that Dortmund have thrown the title away?
It's a very good question, and I would say it's not of that magnitude, because would he have scored, whoever had taken the penalty? I mean, Manuel Riemann is very good as a goalkeeper against penalties. They would have been
75% chance.
Yeah, maybe a bit better with him. And also, I mean, I would like to joke there would have been one man more Borussia Dortmund, because Daniel Suarez already had a yellow card, so he would have been sent off. And we know what happens when Borussia Dortmund is one player more, like we saw in Stuttgart. But I mean, that's a bit unfair, or jokingly said. But
maybe not.
Yeah, or maybe not. And here we are. The story, when Dortmund will rewind their season, they will probably be very frustrated about this, not winning in Bochum. But they will be much more frustrated about this 3-3 in Stuttgart I was referring to. Also, even worse, probably, their home game against Werder Bremen, where they lost with 2 goals in extra time at home. And so there are more games they easily could have won. Also at Schalke, where they was a draw, where there were where Dortmund was a much better team, and we could go on like this, and so yes, it was an important decision that went wrong, but I think in the greater range of things, it's not or would not be the explanation why Dortmund didn't win the German title. And
Yeah,
I think
Sebastian Kehl.
And I think they can still win it, because we have.
You think so?
Yeah, yes, of course. I mean, I saw Bayern Munich on Sunday, and they are having a lot of problems too. But at least they won 2-0. Maybe we'll talk about this in a minute. But yeah, there are two teams struggling with a lot of problems, and there is a good chance that both of them will drop more points in the last 4 games of the season.